Do you think those differences in the outward behaviour of the same condition is a genetic thing, or do you think it's a cultural the way girls and boys are raised differently? Like, why would there be that difference?
In all fairness, I don't know the answer to that. But it's not just, say, for example, that I've talked about autism and dyspraxia. We know, for example, with chronic pain, more women suffer from chronic pain than men. I did my own PhD research around a condition called joint hypermobility syndrome, which also is similar to Ehlers-Danlos hypermobility syndrome. You may have heard of Ehlers-Danlos, but Ehlers-Danlos...
I have not, I'll be honest. But please enlighten me.
Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and joint hypermobility syndrome are part of a genetic group of connective tissue disorders where people have many symptoms. And again, the prevalence of that condition is higher amongst women than men. In my own study, which was looking at those patients who attended a clinic in London, 92% were women, and only 8% were men.
Right.
And that's a condition with multiple manifestations. So, for example,
that's a huge difference, isn't it?
It's a big difference.
Wow.
And that's a condition that is kind of, we call an invisible condition, because it's not many people know about it. It's under recognised by many clinicians, but it's got and again, it's a very complex condition. It comes with not only chronic pain, but people might have what we call postural orthostatic tachycardic syndrome, which they get sort of dizziness and a high heart rate. They may have symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome, and yet they don't actually have an irritable bowel, but the symptoms are like that, because they've got a sort of functional gastrointestinal problem. And then they, as I say, different types of pain. So they may have pain in many joints, they may have dislocations, they tend to be very bendy, or can be, some of them tend to be bendy. When I talk about bendy or hypermobile, I'm talking about what you might see amongst gymnasts and ballerinas, that sort of where the joints sort of go beyond hyperextension.
Yeah. I'm aware of that because I snapped my ACL once. And
very.
That was painful.
Yes, that was painful.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
And my wife's done both of hers on both legs as well,
right.
playing netball.
Okay.
So I did football, hers was for netball. So we're both familiar with that.
Well, now coming back, that's interesting, because with the recent explosion of football,
women's football.
Well, women's football.
Yep.
Women are more likely to have ACL ruptures than men for the same number of playing hours. So that's that, that we've got data dating back to they looked at this quite a lot in the States with their soccer, and because they brought in a lot of women into soccer scholarships in the universities in America, well over 20 years ago. And that was something they began to see was, they were getting many more ACL ruptures in women compared with men. So
interesting. So just to return to the original question that I probed about favouritism, this is actually more like a levelling of the playing field, so to speak. Excuse the pun.
That's right. Yeah.
Because women suffer from these problems more, they go unnoticed more. This is more about balancing the books.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Consider myself educated on that point. Thank you.